Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 4th of February 2021. Welcome back to episode 4. So we're going to go over Euro USD for today. As I mentioned in episode 3, a few scenarios that I was expecting. As you can see, I've got an open trade, or a pending trade, should I say, not an open trade. It's a limit order to buy, which I'll go through in a moment. The expectation, as I was discussing yesterday, I was saying right towards the end of the video that if price did run up into this area up here to pick up some sell liquidity and start to run lower, it would have been a good opportunity to maybe pick something up around about here and catch that last portion as it was going. But if you remember, as I was explaining yesterday, I was leaning more towards this kind of slow bleed into Friday. Now I'm going to leave this position pending going into tomorrow, and if it triggers tomorrow, I'm just going to leave it over the weekend, and I'll explain why in a second. So if we go over to the daily chart, and what I'll do is I'll just clean this up because it didn't happen basically, and this is just a price measurement, so I'll take that off as well. This is our original area, which if we go over to the daily, and we just reset the chart, if we go over to the daily here, we can see the original just here. Scrunch up our chart a little bit just to make things a bit tidier. So the blue line here is a pending buy, okay, and the buy is at 1950. Okay, so 119.50 buy, and I have a stop. If it triggers, the stop will be at 19. Okay, so the 119 handle, and the target's going to be way above on the weekly chart. So it's going to be, I guess it's not going to be a position trade as such, but it's going to be a trade that I'm going to be holding for quite a while, as I'm expecting, some upside, but I'm going to be managing the position, closely. Yeah, so I may very well get out of this position, but I want to give it quite a wide stop to just give it some room to breathe, depending on what happens. Assuming obviously I get triggered, okay. Assuming the trade gets triggered and it's entered, I want to give it room to breathe, because going into next week, I don't want a situation where if the trade is triggered today or tomorrow, during London tomorrow, for example, and then I get stopped out on a quick 10 or 15 or a 20 pip stop, and then it reverses and it starts to grind higher, and then I could be, missing out on a potential run going into next week, and I don't want to miss out on that just because my risk was too tight. All right. And I'll just quickly mention as well, obviously when you're trading, doing educational trades and things like this online on YouTube, and people are watching your trades and so on, you don't want to be, and this goes for anybody who wants to do this type of trading, this is a real scenario. There's people out there obviously that have, accounts, and they show hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I don't know if they're demo or real, and I don't really care. It's not my business to comment, but I'm not going to stick 10, 15, 20 grand into an account and then sit here and try and be a smart ass, in front of people that I don't know. Yeah, this is, that's serious money to be playing around with. Yeah, this is a normal account, 250 quid. The risk management is going to be slightly out of whack. Yeah, on 50 pips, 30 pence a point, which is the lowest I can go, or 30 pence a pip. It's a risk of £15. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. But the overall account size for this series, this whole process that I'm going to be going through for however long this is going for, is £1,000. Okay, so I've got £750 set aside in a savings account plus this 250, so it's £1,000, and that's the full 1,000 that I'm prepared to put into this from now until however long it takes, and that 750 is there basically. So if this falls under an amount that I'm not comfortable with in terms of the margin side of things, and I won't be able to trade the way that I want to trade, then I'll just add another 250. So I just wanted to get that out of the way now, so people don't think that I'm skewed with my risk, okay? Because this is for educational purposes, yeah, and I don't want people, learning bad habits before we've even started, okay? Because the whole point is for me to be, promoting good habits and good teaching, and going through a process that makes sense, right? So the trade is there. I'm going to leave it as it is, okay? This was the area down here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this a little bit We'll just make it white, just stands out so much better. Okay, so this was the area down here, and this is where, you know, I want to see price. What we'll do, just make it like this. Okay, so this is where I want to see. You can see we're fast approaching this. We've had a really nice down day today. All right, we came relatively close, I think within 16 pips or so, maybe 15 pips, depending on what broker you're using, of the 119.50 area, which is the mid figure. It's a good place to get a nice price response, you know, so I'm covering a lot of the bases in, you know, in the respect of the actual price point as well. So I'm ticking a lot of boxes in that respect, but structure is the most important thing for me. You know, we've done a lot of a lot of analysis to get to this point. So going down to the 4 hour, just to kind of get a feel for what the 4 hour looks like, if we scrunch her up a little bit. So again, you see, if I was to make this exact, okay, it is actually here where I want to see price, just slightly below my entry, where I want to be triggered. Yeah, that's really where I want to see price on that last candle, okay, because that's where the biggest buildup of liquidity is going to be. So ideally tomorrow it's a slow bleed. What's happening is, you can see, as I explained yesterday, I want to see price accelerate into this area because it bodes well for that bounce, that, you know, that snapback. Yeah, not because it's, you know, elongated, or not because it's stretching too far and it needs to snap back or anything like that, but it's purely based on a liquidity thing. Yeah, if price starts to accelerate very, very quickly, it means it's reaching for liquidity, and as soon as it finds it, it snaps back, yeah, and starts to go back in the opposite direction to deliver price, and starts to rebalance as it's going back in the opposite, you know, the opposite direction to which it came. Okay, so we need that speed, we need that quick movement, that quick reaching for liquidity, so we know, yes, it's reaching for liquidity. We have a very good idea of where that liquidity is going to be building up. We know where it's resting, so we have resting liquidity down here. It is buy liquidity coming off the tail end of sell liquidity, which is up here and all the way over here. So I want to see it run, but it's bleeding into this area. Okay, so this doesn't bode well in the respect of a quick scalp, a quick in and out trade. Yeah, but because that's not what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for that overall objective of a month down the line, 2 weeks to a month down the line, where I'm expecting this overall weekly chart to be, you know, to be in control, yeah, then it really doesn't matter how price effectively gets there. As an intraday trader, I'm always aware of these things, but as a swing trader, you know, slash kind of position-ish trader, yeah, or a longer term trader, so to speak, yeah, as I'm fusing the two together in this series, I also have to be mindful of that as well, yeah, in terms of this. Don't worry too much about these intraday nuances, because they don't really matter in terms of this particular trade. There are going to be trades as we're going through this process that you'll see me do that will just be quick scalps, in and out, 15-20 pips, you know, because the intraday volatility warrants it, yeah. And you'll see the movement, it's there, you see that injection of volatility. It makes sense to open a trade, to get in, to get out, and to move on, yeah. Whereas these types of trades, it's, you know, these are the types of trades, if it unfolds the way that I believe it's going to unfold, and I could be wrong obviously, but if it unfolds the way that I believe it's going to unfold, it's going to offer me an opportunity to actually add to this position while it's in profit, as it's confirming going higher, yeah, which is, it's one of the best and the most perfect scenarios to be in as price is going in profit, yeah, which, if it pans out that way, it's going to be a very good opportunity for me to explain some things as it's going in the, you know, in the direction that we want. So going down to the hourly for tomorrow, you know, we can see our week this week. It's pretty much a slow bleed, as I said, and nice. You know, we've had some areas where prices accelerated a little, but generally we've got this consolidation drop. Well, we had this consolidation drop, consolidation drop, consolidation, and then a nice kind of slow bleed into this area. So it's just slowly going into the, we just want to see that last bit now, yeah. So ideally the scenario going into tomorrow, pre-London, around about 4 o'clock in the morning, coming out of the Asian session, 5 o'clock or so, between 4 and 5, I'd like to see price just slowly drift higher. Around about 6 o'clock GMT, 7 o'clock GMT, I want to see a pop, Yeah, I'm exaggerating it here, but I want to see a pop, reversal, a nice drive lower into this area, trigger the buy, and then it just kind of slowly drifts, either slowly drifts up or it just snaps back and then starts to grind high to take out all of this. Ideally, I want to be finished. I want price to be finishing around about the 120.30 mark. Yeah, that would be the ideal scenario. That'd be perfect, or at least finish above 120.10. Yeah, if we finish tomorrow at 120.10 with this trade triggered, I'll be very happy going into the weekend. Yeah, because I've got the higher time frame weekly in control of the trade. Yeah, that would be a perfect scenario. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that, guys. I'll have another update for you tomorrow. I hope the video finds everybody well and safe. And as always, if you're excuse me, if you're enjoying the videos and you are happy with the content and you're learning something, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and I will catch up with you in tomorrow's update. Take care.